So it is time to enjoy the rewards of this rather curious experiment that we did this year. I've been wanting to tap these maple trees in my yard for a couple of years, and this year I got serious about it. I decided last year to give it a try. However, I missed the window, and I did one tap and I got a amazingly small amount of syrup. I boiled it down and basically had enough to taste it. But that one taste got me excited about doing it this year. So I waited, the daytime temperature above 40 degrees and the nighttime temperature still dropping below freezing. And I started putting taps in. I started with 4 taps. And what I did was I went online and read about the height that I should put the taps in, the angle at which I should drill into the tree to optimize the sap flowing out of my taps. I substituted for real taps using the Netafim teas, and I supported my containers with screw hooks that I put in. Again, this was all just in fun, and I just wanted to see what I might be able to do. And then the sap, of course, started to flow. And every day as the temperature warmed up, the sap was just dripping out. And I saw that I was going to be able to capture quite a bit of syrup, or excuse me, of sap. So all the taps that I put in on this tree, and although this has 2 trunks, this is actually one tree. The trunk over there was years and years and years ago, just a sucker that grew out of this tree. But this is where I put the taps in per what I learned on YouTube at about that 4-foot level. And this is where I got quite a bit of syrup. This is the tree that produced the most for me. And you can see this tap I put in at about 3 feet off the ground. And the one down here, this was my fun little experiment where I put one down very close to the ground. And this one gave me the most. Somebody who loves and preserves trees and does everything for their health and longevity, I can tell you that the taps, the size that I put in and the size that they recommend at the spacing for the size of the tree do not harm the tree. I looked at the one tap that I put in last year and it had completely compartmentalized and healed over. So no damage done to the tree. Where I keep the site clean and sterilize my tools and whatnot, there's no risk of any infection getting into the trees. Back east, where in Canada, where this is done quite a bit, they have what are called sugar houses, and you know, it's a dedicated place where they can boil and boil and boil. And I didn't have anything like that, so I started out doing it on my camp stove with propane, and in the process I was going through propane really quickly. And I thought, well, that's not working. So I have a hot plate, and I did the rest of it on a hot plate until it was reduced to enough that I could bring it in the house and then finish it out in the house. But definitely, if I decide to do it again next year, I am going to do it over a wood stove or an open fire. The ratio is 60 gallons of sap cooked down were going to give me a gallon of syrup. Well, I didn't collect 60 gallons. I collected more like 30 at the most. And the curious thing was, is after I would get like 5 gallons and I would distill it down, or I should say reduce it down, every time the syrup was a different color. So this is very traditional maple syrup color, as is this, but each one tasted a little bit different. But as is consistent with box elder, which is Acer Negundo, the butterscotch color, and that's what I'm putting on my pancakes this morning, the butterscotch color is what is said to be most consistent. And not only is it a butterscotch color, but it's also very much a butterscotch flavor, so I've been led to believe. So this is this is the opportunity to enjoy what was a lot of time spent boiling sap. It's a very unique maple flavor. Not at all the maple syrup that you get from the grocery store, but absolutely delicious.